my friends, great honor, great privilege. You know how much I admire and appreciate this man, and the fact with, just some 10 or so days away from WrestleMania, the fact that he would come in to our studio to chop it up, to talk with all of us. I don't mean actual chops because he's very good at those. Means a whole lot. So without further ado, let us say hello to the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion, the reigning defending World Heavyweight Champion, the pride of Austria, formerly known as Walter, now known as Gunther, the Ring General. How are you, sir?
I'm very good.
It's a great pleasure to have you
here. Very nice introduction. Oh, thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Please have a seat. There he is, my old friend Greg. Please have a seat, and you've brought some gold. How about this?
Yes, very nice, right?
This is a nice title. Dare I say,
Put it right there.
the nicest title of them all.
That.
Because, it's perfect for you because it's a throwback title. It looks like the old WCW World Heavyweight title, right?
I agree. I guess that's the inspiration of it, so I like that too.
Yes, it fits you perfectly. Thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's a huge deal for us, and we're big fans of yours. And I understand, actually, yesterday you were at your very first hockey game. How's that possible? A guy who grew up in Austria. I know it's not huge over there.
No, it's not.
Austria, but it's getting a little bit more. You never went to a hockey game of any kind?
No.
Really?
We have a team in Vienna, I think the Vienna Capitals.
Okay.
But I guess they did well for a while, and then it disappeared out of the public eye, like to me at least. Switzerland is quite big in hockey, but yeah, it was
Slovakia, Czech Republic.
Yes,
those places. What did you think?
I liked it. It was very in and out because I just came back from Europe.
Okay, yes.
And then I flew in from Raw and went there, so I left as soon as I could because I needed to sleep. I passed out on my couch last night.
You're one of those VIPs. You show up for the appearance and then you head out the back door.
No, usually I try to take it in whenever I get a chance to do an appearance like that, right?
Sure.
So, but yeah, I think I'm gonna go again in the future when the time allows it. It's a nice thing to take appearance when they visit and stuff. I guess,
for sure.
Right?
I like to look at what people who are coming on the show, what they are doing, who they are talking to, recent appearances, because I don't want to ask the same things, and I just want to know what's going on. This is an observation. Correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like you don't do a lot of interviews. I feel like I see a ton of I see a ton with Cody, but I couldn't find a lot of recent long form Gunther interviews. Is there a reason for that?
Yeah, I don't know if there's a reason for it. I've done more when I started out, when I was IC champion, and then it calmed down again. It's maybe something I should put more pressure on to that.
But maybe that gives you some mystique. That I actually kind of liked it.
Yeah,
because it makes it feel special. I don't feel like you're oversaturated, overexposed.
Yeah, I always liked that. I always thought to be overexposed all the time, at least in my case, doesn't help me.
Mm-hmm.
I think to do appearances here and there and then talk about certain things is interesting, but I don't know. Always my gut feeling was always like just be less out there, and then it means more.
I wondered, because it's often been said that you're old school, that you're a throwback, if perhaps you don't like doing it because you don't want to be one of those guys who pulls back the curtain too much. You respect the business so much that you don't want to break kayfabe, as they say.
It's not even about that. I think everything very much progressed and stuff, but I think the persona that I am on TV, it helps if there's mystique about it, if people can't really tell what I'm up to or what I'm not up to. And yeah, in the indies, I could kind of like self-manage that, right? Because there's nobody that was definitely something with WWE because they're so out there that both sides had to get used to when we started working together. I guess they just balanced it out by now. So,
are you happy with what you're doing now?
I am, yes. How can I? I'm living the dream. Like, quite objectively, when I look at my career, it's like the last few years have been, everything I always worked for in, a business sense, but also like in what I wanted to be as a wrestler. And I can't complain.
You say you're living the dream, but I've also heard you say multiple times you didn't grow up dreaming of being a WrestleMania main eventer.
Yeah.
You dreamed of New Japan. You dreamed of... So why do you say you're living the dream if, quite literally, maybe this wasn't the dream early on?
I mean, it still is. I always wanted to be a wrestler and wrestle on a high level and have great matches and make my money with it, and that's what I'm doing. So I was fortunate enough. I lived my dream before I joined WWE because I could make a living of this, and I was quite happy when it comes to that. But also, I guess as a person, you develop and things change, and I have a family now that I have to or want to provide for. So there's goals change when that happens too, for example. And yeah, where I'm right now, I feel very privileged, but also very proud of that. It's like a position with a lot of responsibility and a lot of trust that is given. And to be able to fulfill that and carry that, I think that's a big achievement for myself, like the standard that I set for myself, what I want to be. And yeah, it's living the dream.
How is fatherhood, by the way?
Great.
How old is your child?
He's 15 months now.
15 months, okay.
Yeah. But he's already up and running and everything, very active. It's easier for me than for my wife, obviously, because I dip in and out. I travel a lot, so when I come home, I'm the superstar.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, it's as you know, it's a big learning experience.
Sure.
It's humbling. It's exciting, but it's like also, yeah, it's a challenge, a positive one, I would say.
Someone was making fun of me before the show, saying that, and I think we're about to reach that point, saying that he was going to set the line at 6 minutes of me mentioning to you that my son's name is Walter. But I've already mentioned this to you in the past.
Yeah, you did before, yeah.
So I don't need to mention it again. I am wondering, though, if perhaps you called your son Walter Jr.
His second name is Walter, actually.
Okay.
Yes.
Not bad, not bad.
Because my father is named Walter, and you can't give down
you
3
can't?
times in a row.
Why not?
You can. I think there's like somebody once told me it's kind of like bad luck if you do it. I don't know. So
Really?
I did.
Is that an Austrian thing?
It might be. I never investigated even more, but then I thought it's a nice touch to
Sure.
like do the second name.
Because here in America, there's second, third, there's, you could go all the way down to fourth, I've seen. But you wanted to give him his own identity, if you will.
Yeah.
Do you want him to be a wrestler? Do you even think about that, or are you too...
No,
Would you like for him to follow in your footsteps?
That's a bit early.
Yeah.
1.5 years old now. I'm focused on him.
It happens fast, my friend.
It does, but now I'm focused on, I really hope he starts using the fork soon and stuff like that.
Go to the bathroom on his own,
yes,
body train.
baby steps.
Okay.
And then whatever makes him happy.
I was once in those shoes. Now my oldest son is about to turn 13, so
here we go.
It happens very quickly. But yes, you are a little bit away from all that. I asked you if you were happy, and part of the reason why I asked you that was because this is WrestleMania season, as they say, right?
Yeah.
And so it's a very busy time, I would imagine, and it's all culminating to your version of the Super Bowl. It all comes. And when I ask if you're happy, it's on multiple fronts. Happy with what you're doing, but also what you are doing on television, what you are doing with Jey Uso. Are you happy with the program, the rivalry that you have?
I am, yes. I think especially the last 2 weeks were very important, and that's, yeah.
Why did you hesitate there for a moment?
What do you mean?
When you said, I feel like you hesitated for a minute when you said that you're happy.
No, I am happy, but it was a challenge because it was like 10-week build.
Yeah.
And to really find something that like excites you for 10 weeks in a row is hard, and especially with all the other stuff going on. But I think we managed it very well. Like I said, the last 2 weeks, I think we got it en route where it's supposed to be. And it's always a little bit like what I want myself, like what I would see the best idea or something. And like that doesn't always happen. That's not the nature of how the business works. And then you gotta be mature enough to realize that we do that stuff every week. There's always a better idea for something, and it's not, at the end of the day, it's not about my personal taste often, what I would like. It's about what's best for the product at that point overall. And in that regard, I think we managed it very well. And going into Mania, I think we set the tone very well.
The last couple of weeks have been great. The blood, the stuff with Jimmy, it feels very intense, very personal, which is what you always want. Here you are saying welcome to hell as you're standing over a bloody Jimmy Uso. It's great stuff. In fact, I think you upset their father. Rikishi is not too happy with you.
Yeah, that could be, but I don't blame him. After
he could get it too, right? Or no?
If he wants to. I think he's done.
But I know a lot of people, including myself, were very surprised when Jey won the Royal Rumble, and obviously we didn't know which direction he would go, your belt or Cody's belt. Yeah. Were you surprised that he won?
Yes, I was actually, because obviously at the end in with Cena, but looking back at it, Cena's on his last run here now, and that's how you want to use them. Like, put them in the ring with somebody that is like on his way up or is like red hot in the moment, and benefit of that. So I was surprised, and there was, yeah, I was surprised, and I didn't think Jey would be my ideal opponent for WrestleMania because we are very different. But then rethinking it, I think it makes a lot of sense because I think in WWE right now, I'm the perfect counterpart to everybody who is on his way up, who's like red hot, wants to achieve a certain something. And I think I'm a good party pooper when it comes to that. So, yeah, at the end, I was happy that he won. And he deserved it, I think. And, yeah, I'm glad we started that program now.
Could I ask, who was your ideal opponent?
I didn't really nail that down, to be honest, because we have so many guys that are, like, when it just comes to in-ring, that are, like, super exciting to have a match with. And so I didn't really, as a wrestler yourself, you obviously want to make the next step. So my hopes were, like, can I mix it up with somebody like Punk, maybe with Seth, or maybe with Roman? Is there a chance for that? Or even Cena? But yeah, that didn't work out yet. But also, I think we're in a situation right now in the company where so many things changed in a very short time, and there's a whole new excitement about the company. And that's a big opportunity for guys that are newer to the place, like me, or somebody like Jey that is around forever and now finally has the chance to do something on his own. And that's with a lot of guys I had matches with. It's the perfect breeding ground for us to have all the attention on us and, yeah, leave a mark. Because at the end of the day, I feel like everybody can stand out when in the ring with somebody that is like super established already. There's like a made figure, somebody like Roman. But if we can make a difference, like together, and set a new standard for us, what's to expect from us going forward, and when it comes to a lot of different things, I think that's the perfect opportunity for that, and it's a challenge somewhat too. And it's a high pressure situation, but I feel like that's when I thrive. I think that's where people in general thrive. The high pressure situations are the ones where, you sink or swim. And yeah, I'm glad with how everything worked out.
You mentioned Roman, Punk, Seth. They are the main event of night one. Obviously, Cena is main eventing against Cody in night two. Are you disappointed you're not main eventing as world heavyweight champ?
Well, no, I'm not. There's too many event spots. Some people argue there's only one. It's the night two. At the end of the day, those are they're big achievements, but that's nothing I want to get. I don't want to stress about, because in the long term, later on, when I finished my career and I was able to be financially set up, took care of my family, and I did all of this doing that thing that I always wanted to do. I don't know, if I never main event WrestleMania, that's going to make a difference about how proud or happy I will be about my career. So I think that's a mental challenge for us, the wrestlers, is like, you want to do all those things naturally. That's like the first reaction. It's like, you want to achieve this and you want to do that. And it's like often important to put things into perspective and ground yourself a little bit. Because if you always look for that, what's next, like one more, that's like an endless game. It's like, where's the end? And I rather try to be very focused on what I'm doing at the moment and put all my effort in there, put my full focus on that, and try to make the best thing possible. And I think that's when really good stuff happens.
Can I say I'm one of those who feels like the main event of Sunday is the main event?
Yeah. I mean,
I'm old school like that.
Well, I don't want to challenge you on that. That's like, it's not that important to me, to be honest.
You don't care about any of this stuff. We get all caught up on who's main eventing, where they are on the card. You don't pay attention to any of this.
Of course, I see stuff, but I actively try to stop myself from worrying about it.
Because it does no good.
I can't control it anyway.
Right.
I can do my best, and I will do my best anyway. It doesn't matter where I would be on that card. I would give my best, and the weeks leading up front, I would give my best. And it doesn't change anything. So
Can I ask your perspective on the Cena heel turn?
Yeah.
This new John Cena that we're seeing. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, if he goes against Cody, who's like the guy right now.
Yeah.
I feel like that had to happen. That was a natural reaction. And at the end of the day, I feel like that's always funny where perception of a person, like how it ends up, because obviously now when Cena came back, like everybody loved him, and even like years before. But when I was younger, I only knew Cena as the guy that the company wanted to be loved by everyone, but nobody did. Everybody booed him, and everybody was kind of like, "Oh, not that guy again."
Yeah.
So in reality, yeah, that's the Cena I always remembered. Obviously, in wrestling, it's always funny when you go away for a little bit, you come back, everybody's just falls in love with you again.
Yes,
and,
of course.
and
This
new
is life.
a new reality with new memories created.
Right.
But yeah, it was the right thing to do, I think. Again, great opportunity for Cody. Having Cena back is fantastic. Like one of the, like that's also people argue about that. Who's the greatest star? He's
Sure.
one of them. Who makes a decision that is like, hey, I want to do this for another year. And I think it's a lot of class about the way he wants to go out. Where it's not like one more. It's like a definitive period of time. He's still in fantastic shape. He's still, top guy right away. I think it's a very good way to go out, to have that much control about it. So glad he's here.
One thing I'm curious about, early in his career, he was a heel type character, but when you wrestle as a heel, especially like someone who's mad like him, your style changes too, right? So I'm curious to see how this version of him, wearing the stuff that he wears and being the guy that he is, wrestles as a heel, because it won't be the same. You can't be the same. It can't be the same as the one that we saw 2 months ago, right?
Yeah.
Everything has to change. You have to do different things.
Yeah.
Your demeanor has to be different. Your tactics have to be different.
That will be interesting, right? It's like obviously there's a different rhythm to being a babyface or a heel, and we'll see how he manages that. But at the end, also, I think it's the typical babyface heel thing is kind of like something that's important at the early stages when you work your way up, and as soon as you have a certain attention on you, then you're just you. Like I don't think you will have to change too much, to be honest.
Okay.
But I'm very interesting to see how he handles it, like how his take on that is. So looking forward to it.
Are you the kind of person that pays attention to what everyone else is doing? In other words, because this is the culmination of the year, you look at this feud, that rivalry, and say, I like this, I don't like this, I'm locked into this, this is the best one in my opinion, this is the hottest? Or are you so focused on what you're doing, you don't pay attention, you don't watch the show, you don't do anything?
No, honest answer, I maybe I'm a bad example then, but I hardly watch anything else.
This is why I asked the question, because I had a feeling you were
Yeah.
that.
But
why is that?
But it's not like because I'm not interested. It's kind of like
you're locked in.
Yeah, it's like, so when I'm at TV, I watch what I can see of the show.
Sure.
So I kind of like always see it live, but I also miss stuff. But then it's again, we're at the point where it's like, it doesn't matter what the other people do. It's like, it doesn't change what I do. It's like, it's kind of like, I almost don't want to know, because I don't want to be like, oh, they did this, so I have to step up to this. It's like, no, it's not. I don't know. I don't think it's beneficial.
Okay.
But there's also like times, and it fluctuates, where there's times I watch more wrestling again, and pretty much depends on how much goes on in my private life, to be honest. We've been very busy recently the last months. We set up a few new homes and stuff like that. It was very stressful, so there was little time.
Investments and things like that.
Pardon?
You mean like investments, or like
No. We got 2 new places to live in.
Wow.
We had to set them up. One in Europe. One
This is a
here
lot.
and
This
stuff.
is a lot.
So, and that with the baby, it was a big challenge.
Yes.
So there was little energy.
You don't have time to
switch
sit
off.
down for 9 straight hours to watch everything else going on.
No.
I understand.
Not really.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
I feel like your timing is fortuitous, though, because I do wonder if this version of you, I don't know, 5-6 years ago in a different regime would be as successful as you have been. Do you feel the same way? Do you feel like you coming to WWE, you're a little bit older, right? You're not your typical, you've been, I think, there for 3 years on the main roster, something to that effect, but you are 37, correct? You are the perfect guy for the Triple H era, if you will. And I don't know if in the tail end of the Vince McMahon era, you could have had the same success that you are having. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I would agree with that, actually. I was under Vince for 4 months or
A
something.
brief period, yeah.
And yeah, it was strange work experience.
Can I ask
I
why?
would say it was kind of like the direction was very confusing. It's like it was hard to figure out what was expected of me, which usually is never an issue with that. I was always, but at the end of the day, everything came around for me. It was lucky often in my career in terms of timing. I was at the right place at the right time very often. But yeah, overall, I'm 100% a hunter guy. Like that's been my whole career in WWE. Was like my directions came from hunter.
Hmm. Do you think that given those 4 months, do you think that maybe you wouldn't still be here? Like, were you very unhappy at the time?
I was kind of like I'm a person. I struggle to just go along with things if I can't logically get them.
Mm.
There's no like objective reason for things, then I struggle to just I don't know. I give up quickly. Where I go like, okay, I don't want to bother with this. Then, but yeah, overall, I don't think it gotten that far yet. It was just a little bit of a confusing time, I would say. I think I had 2 conversations with Vince or something very briefly. So it was
In 4 months?
yeah, it was very hard to get to anything really. So it was just a strange work experience. I think also that might be a background thing culturally because NXT's run a little bit different. You get a lot of instruction because it's developmental, obviously. And all the jobs I had before, like the regular jobs, like I worked in Germany most of the time. That's as straightforward as it gets. You get told what to do all the time, and if it's not done to the highest grade, then you get told right away too. So it's very different in work culture over here than back home. That had something to do with that as well, maybe.
So how would you describe working for Paul? How would you describe working for, him as the leader, his vision, the way he does things differently than the previous regime?
Well, I would say to a degree, and obviously he's my boss, and I'm in a very good position at the company right now, but I think to a certain degree that, he saved professional wrestling to a big degree, I think.
Wow.
Because, when I remember when I started, 2005, I started, and all the Europeans that kind of like tried to get into WWE, it was such a mystery about it, like who to talk to and what to do. It seemed so far away, such an unrealistic point to achieve. And Hannah was the one that pushed for opening that world to WWE and created so many jobs and opportunities back then for so many of the guys, like for us, for all the European guys. But then in general, it's just he opened the floodgates for the wrestling world outside of WWE, and I think that's since then the change has been very positive, and I think that was a big achievement, to be honest, because the business changed since then, and it changed to the better. I think it's the hardest that it is right now, and that all started back then when he started NXT and started working more with guys that worked on the indies before and stuff like that. I always had a really good relationship with Hannah. When WWE got in touch with me first, I wanted to go to New Japan. It was my thing. Like, I always wanted to be a wrestler in Japan, but they didn't really move or say anything. And then WWE got in touch with me, and I kind of like waited it out a little bit because it's always me. I don't know, when there's like there's an opportunity and everybody jumps at it at the same time. I get a little bit, I don't know. It gives me a weird feeling. I was like, man, maybe I sit this out first and see how it goes. And it worked out at the end. But Hunter was always the guy that said, hey, man, I see a big future here for you. And if you want to do it, then I'm on board. Just let us know, more or less.
Was he the first person to reach out?
No, Mr. Regal called me first.
Wow. Can you tell me about that? Like, do you remember where you were?
I don't even know. I must have been at home.
Did you know him? Did you have any relationship with Mr. William Regal?
I met him at a PWG before.
Okay.
He would always come to PWG, and I think for Battle of Los Angeles, like
California,
a tournament once a year.
And does he call you on the phone?
Yeah.
And he says, we're interested.
Yeah, he just said, man, come over. You can make money here. Like,
okay.
And I was still kind of like stubborn. It's like, no, I don't want to.
You said no initially.
Yeah, like I said no 2 times to them.
Why?
Because I never saw myself there. It's like,
You didn't want to be a comedy act or...
Yeah, I always thought like, hey, what I got to offer is me, and that's all I got. And I'm happy to work on myself, and I'm happy to improve on myself. But at the core, it's always going to be me. And I was never interested in, I don't know, portraying somebody else's fantasy
Sure.
and then just be a wrestler on the side, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, yeah.
I always wanted to do what I think is right for me to do. And yeah, with NXT and everything, they gave me the opportunity to do that and stay based in Europe for a little bit and have a smooth transition because I was running the wrestling school in Germany before and stuff. And yeah, it was a smooth transition to that.
That blows my mind. This is the top of your profession, and they come knocking on your door a couple times, and you say thanks, but no thanks. I'm happy here. I don't want to change. I don't want to be who you maybe think, or I think you want me to be.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone would say that.
I guess there were some other guys who did that too, but yeah, I don't know. I never had an issue with that, saying no at first and then see what happens. It's like...
So why did you eventually say yes?
I mean, I ran my course in NXT UK. Like, I held that title for...
But this is before you, because when you're in NXT UK, you were already in, right?
Yeah, I was already in.
So, but like initially...
that was the move to America.
Yeah.
I mean, signing with the... I mean, at the end, it comes down to, like, finances, too, at some point.
Yeah.
And it's like, also, it's like, you gotta... As an athlete, you always want to, like, step up to the next challenge to some degree. And I did everything I could for the company in Germany I worked for. I did everything I could on the indies. That's usually a very small window there. And there was not really, like I said, New Japan didn't really move, and there was nothing else that was really... I had an offer from Ring of Honor back then too, so it was all kind of like at the same time. And at the end, it was, okay, I mean, you're a certain age, you got to think about your future, like where can you make the most money? And
Right.
I had a lot of trust in, Hunter and Hunter's vision.
At some point, did he get involved and say, I believe in you, I want you?
No, I only spoke to him, the first day I was there, I spoke to him. Like, he was one of the first people I talked to, but I didn't talk to him before.
Why didn't New Japan ever move?
I don't know. It's like
Did that bother you? Because I've heard you say way back in the day, you, Stan Hansen, you wanted to take on all the good guys. Like, that was the dream, right?
Yeah.
That was the ultimate for you.
Yeah.
You fit the mold. Like, you seem like the perfect guy that the Japanese crowd would take to, right? Like, you're a big monster. Nothing? No conversations?
No, not really.
That blows my mind.
Yeah, it wasn't... I guess also, like, in general, like, the Japanese style of business, like, they move way slower
Okay.
than in the Western world, especially in the States. That's
Yeah.
like, I want this, I want it now. They move a bit slower, so I guess it would have happened sooner or later, but I was just at a point where I was like, okay, I'm kind of like maxed out what I could do before, and also financially maxed out what I could do there. And then it was just like, okay, I gotta make a move now. And yeah, with like NXT, I had a really good feeling that it's a different environment. It's not, I can be there and exist there and keep growing there without necessarily having to make the step and go on the main roster. So yeah, I went there.
NXT UK was a very special thing. In fact, towards the very end, I was working for BT Sport, who would air NXT UK. I think actually your wife was doing some stuff for them as well, like some like presenting stuff, and it just seemed like a very tight knit and like a wrestling fans like ultimate promotion, right?
Yeah.
And I think when they got rid of it, there was some talk of doing like an NXT Europe, but it never came to fruition.
Yeah.
Would you like to see something like that back, or do you think it's not necessary anymore?
So I think NXT UK was great for the time, but at some point it ran its course too, I think.
Okay.
And I'm not necessarily sure if there's a big benefit from that because it's very different. There's not like a real athlete pool over in Europe, how it is in the States. Like, everybody wants to be a football player.
Yeah.
And they make such good money that it's hard to compete with that for like a developmental deal to, if you can play third or fourth league football in any of the bigger countries, you still make very good money. And also, like, I think American football player and amateur wrestler, all those like gymnastics, all of those sports that are like really supported in the States, they have way better fundamentals for professional wrestling than football player would be, for example. So I'm not sure. So I guess if there's like really talented guys in Europe, which there always are, I guess they can just go to the PC in the States. I
Right.
don't know, but I think it's interesting to have it. It's kind of like a territory to give the wrestlers that just start out in NXT, to give them a different experience, to get in front of a different crowd and learn a different style. I think that would be the most interesting part about having it, I think. Instead of just like finding people there and then
Sure.
making them into wrestlers, Europe has like a really good core group of wrestlers all the time. There's always wrestling going on and they know how to work, and I think it would be a good experience to send people there to get in the ring with them.
Your appearance recently on LFG was phenomenal, and it was perfect because it represented you and I think what people think you're about, but also some of the criticisms that some people may have about the state of the industry, in that the days of a Walter kind of being this like indie god and then finally graduating don't really happen as much. Now it's someone coming over from gymnastics or pro football in America, et cetera, et cetera. And so I'm wondering how much of that was from the heart, what you were saying to those people about,
I feel like it's like often with the things I say, I mean it to a degree. It's like an objective analysis I do.
It was fantastic.
But I just put a little bit more spice on it.
Okay.
I think so. I think, first of all, like, that's a big difference often between the athletes and all the people from the indies. I mean, back then, it's like, on the indies, almost nobody's like in shape. It's like everybody learns how to wrestle, but oftentimes that's maybe the only like real activity they do.
Sure. It's a side gig, yeah.
Because people are more young, financially you struggle and stuff like that. It's a less focused environment. You just do wrestling on the side and then try to survive somehow. But with those athletes coming in, they're like athletically, they're absolutely crazy. Like every time I go to the PC now, I walk around, it's like it's all machines in here. It's crazy. So they're able to learn it a little bit quicker, I would say, than a regular guy from the street that walks into a wrestling school and stuff like that. I think the biggest difference is in the passion of it, because at the end of it, it's a second career for most of them. And I guess some of them always had that dream of, I want to do this one day, but I doubt everybody has that. And pro wrestling is so, it's a weird business because it's elements of everything in there. And on the one hand, you're an athlete. On the other hand, you are an entertainer, and your positioning in entertainment goes up, down. It goes very quickly. That's something you have to mentally be prepared for and be willing to go through longer periods of times where you're really not happy with it and really not enjoying it a lot, but you still got to keep doing it. You just got to stay in there and stick to it. And I think going through those times, that's where the test of passion happens. And that's where you got to ask yourself, like, why am I still doing this? Because I always wanted to. Like, what else would I do? That's what I want to do. And if it's just an alley for you that's like, oh, maybe I try this. If it works out, then you can just go like, oh, okay, maybe, you know what? I tried it. Let's leave it again. I try something else now. You know what I mean? And our business needs people that commit to it their whole life, I think.
Does it bother you when people try to just kind of skip some steps?
No, it doesn't bother me. Really not. That's more like just my thought of it when I look at it. How does it work, or how, like, I make my opinion about it. But I'm not really, I don't know. There's guys that wrestle half my time and are successful. So,
right.
But I don't know. Not really towards anyone, I gotta be honest. I have like, I have no problem if people do better than me. If that makes sense. It's like I said,
it's impressive.
I try to focus on myself.
Hey there, sorry to interrupt. Just want to remind you, if you haven't already, please do hit that subscribe button. We would appreciate it very much. And while you're at it, give us a thumbs up too. You know, we've got live shows, interviews, clips, and a whole lot more going on this here channel. All right, now back to the show. Part of the reason why I asked that is not too long ago we had Baron Corbin on Pestock, and he had some choice words to say about Logan Paul, about the way he conducts himself backstage and the route that he took and whatnot. I mean, you're one of the top guys, and again, I say it one more time, throwback in that you respect the business and the locker room and whatnot. I don't know if you heard any of those comments, but just that general summary of his sentiment towards Logan. You share that.
I mean, no, I had no bad experience with Logan. I think he's a great addition for us. crazy athlete, and he picked it up really quick. And I don't know. I don't think his aspirations are to be the best wrestler in the world, and that he doesn't need to. He's very successful on his own, but he has a passion for it, the obvious one, and he committed to being with us, and it's a great addition. And I don't know. Well, I say this at least. I get there's some sentiment towards the outsiders, but if you get offered that private jet and private locker room, none of you would turn it down. Come on, guys. Let's be honest. Yeah.
But that's interesting because I actually just saw a clip this morning of Perry Saturn. You know Perry Saturn, the old school wrestler, talking about Bret Hart's first day or two in WCW, and he got there and there was a room with his name on it. And he was with Perry Saturn at the time, and he said, like, what is this? He said, this is your private locker room. Hogan has one. This guy has one. And he says, I don't do that. I change, in the locker room with all the boys. Yeah. And Perry said, that just speaks to how great Bret was, and he was one of us.
Yeah.
And so there are some people, it seems like, the great Bret Hart, I admire him greatly, who don't feel this way, right? Who feel like everyone needs to be together.
Yeah.
Do you share that?
No, I don't. No, I just made the step.
Wow, you're a diva. I didn't know this.
I just made the step now recently where
you got your own.
I enjoy some favors where, and I got my tour bus now, and
you got the tour bus too.
They started giving me a locker room too and stuff, and I enjoyed it a lot.
Congratulations!
Thank you. I have to honestly say.
How do you get the tour bus, by the way? It seems like a nice, everyone, Punk gets one, Cody, we hear about the tour bus, and it's like, you've graduated now to super, super duper stardom.
No, I signed a new contract, and that was part of...
Did you throw that in there? Or do they throw it in there?
No, I asked for that. What you don't ask for, you don't get.
Yes.
But that's also at the end of the day, that whole feeling like we're the boys and stuff like that, I totally get that. Like when I started out and in Germany in WXW, we started to be like, okay, we got to run more shows now. We want to professionalize. We got to stick together. All of us only made I don't know, if you were one of the top guys, you made maybe €100 per event or something like that. You know what I mean? So it's like, it wasn't really big business for anyone. So you stick more together, you do it for the sake of it. We all love it, and we all do it together and give everybody a great show. But at a certain level, and I guess that's with everything, it's just, it turns into a career, into a profession, and that's how you have to approach it as well. It's two different things, I think. It's especially at that level now. It's like we talk about all of that, WrestleMania and the big Netflix deal. There's a lot of stuff that's at stake, and it's a big responsibility. And every time you walk out, you get the trust from the company to go out on live TV or do something. There's a big responsibility to it, and we gotta hold each other accountable for that. And I don't think there's no room for, I don't know, just I like the guy, so I accept that.
Sure.
He's lazy on something, for example.
Right.
Never really encountered it in WWE, but stuff like that where it becomes, it's kind of like a boys' club, and it's like it has a negative effect on the performance. So I always try to have my distance to that, if that makes sense. For me, that always worked. I try to treat it as purely business for me. Doesn't matter how much passion I have for it. It doesn't matter how much I love it. But I'm in the spotlight now. It's not other people pay to enjoy it, and it's my role to provide the service so they can enjoy it. So, and that's how I always treated it, and it worked out for me.
When did you sign your new deal?
Last year, end of last year.
Okay. Were you considering options, or did you?
No. I'm set where I am. Nothing else is really no. How could I? I think I saw that statistic recently. Since I signed in 2019, I've been champion 85 or 90% of the time, or something like that. So obviously they always saw me in a certain way and give me the trust, and that's when I enjoyed it. Even on the smaller scale and regular jobs before, when I could step up and take on responsibility and get the trust or earn the trust of someone, and I can fulfill that, and I can make it worth. Those are moments that make me proud and that drive me. That makes sense.
Do you want to be one of these guys that wrestles into your 50s and whatnot?
Depends how
How the body is feeling.
Yeah, and how I look like with 50 years old.
You look
I
great
guess
now.
Thank you. I guess, yeah, we'll see. It's like there's nothing set in stone.
You've not put a date or an age. I'm going to go till 45 or...
No, not really. I don't think the business is changing so much too. Like our schedule got so much better, and also WWE is in such a great spot now. We have so many guys that are over, as they say, that are just super popular. But while before it was more structured, there's like one or maybe two top guys, and everything is catered towards them. Now we have we have so many guys that are like, oh, he's a top guy, he's a top guy, he's a top guy. And I think that's my vision, at least, for the business, like going forward, that it's going to be, I don't know, if I want to see Gunther, there's like 3-4 big matches a year, and that's it. Almost like a little bit more similar how UFC is structured. Makes sense. Obviously, we have weekly TV. It's a little bit of a different scenario, but I think that's going to be a natural progression if things keep going like that. Because the longer people can go, and everybody's smarter now too. It's like, look at some of the guys, like Punk just came back and he's in his 40s, but he fit right in. But like 15 years ago, 10 years ago, somebody in mid-40s would have already been seen like, oh, he's on his way out. You know what I mean? All the top guys are like in the older age now, and I think as a professional wrestler, the more mature you become, the better your performances become. Like the maturity for me is always like a big part of the art form of professional wrestling, like the balance of what to do, when to do, and stuff like that. And I would even say with maturity, your promos become better because you just know more than compared to when you're 25. Schedule is better. So I think that's going to be a progression going forward, a natural one.
Speaking of UFC, just earlier today, the great Tom Aspinall, who's the interim champion of the heavyweight division of the UFC, texted me saying, "This is a big deal. You got Gunther in studio. He met you recently.
Yeah.
He said you were an absolute gentleman to him, that you just made him feel very welcome and comfortable." So,
I like to hear that. He was a very nice guy.
He's one of the nicest guys.
Very down to earth, he seems.
Big boy.
Oh, he's big.
Yeah.
Like I didn't only saw a picture before. I knew he was a heavyweight, but when he stood there, I was like, oh my God, like
Did you know who he was? Do you watch UFC?
I watched it more. Like now, I don't really watch anything. It's hard to follow up with anything. Some topics. Like I hope that fight happens over like Aspinall, John Jones.
Okay, so you're aware of this.
I'm aware of this.
Okay.
That's like the big topic right now.
Yes.
I really hope that happens. But yeah, really nice guy. We did that one little, segment in the which event was it? I think it was in Manchester.
Yeah.
At a live show.
You guys were in Europe for a while.
Really cool. Yeah, we were.
Did you go back and forth, or did you stay there the whole time?
No. I stayed there. We have a place in England now.
Okay, all right.
And we just spent the time there during the week.
Did you go to Vienna as well?
Yeah, I went to Vienna as well.
Was there an event there? You just
Yeah.
Okay.
The show there.
How do you? So in front of that crowd, they're not booing you. They adore you. So what do you do? How do you conduct yourself in front of them?
First of all, Vienna, I have to give a shout out. Like I think we doubled the attendance.
Amazing.
We were there the last time in May. We came back like less than a year later and like doubled, which is like Vienna always had like a rich history in professional wrestling because of Otto Wanz and stuff like that. So that was cool for me to see that come back. And yeah, over there, it's like I walked out with my Austrian football jersey.
Amazing.
Having a good time.
So you're full babyface there.
Yeah, more or less. I'm still me, but more a likable version. And it's a big deal in Austria, I think, because there's not many guys that really break out and make it internationally. It's a big deal in Austria. If one of us makes it, the support you get from the people there, it's like there's a certain pride about that if a person really breaks out, makes it out of Austria, and especially if it's in the States. That's like, because for us, that's like with Arnold, that's like the first example you think of.
Do you get like recognized? Does everyone come up to you on the street? Is it hard for you to be there?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
It's like it's not hard to be there, but you get spoken to.
It's a homecoming, though. It must feel good.
It is. It's very good. Yes, 100%.
Is there a big difference between the European crowds and the American crowds? Not specifically Vienna, but like you guys were there, like you said. Are they different? You know, I always hear about the Japanese crowd, especially in MMA. The Japanese crowd is completely different than the American crowd. Are European crowds the same, or is it all kind of the same? Or is it, are they different? Are there any?
No, they are different, I think.
In what respect?
It's because American and European sports culture is different. So, and also all of the games over here, like NHL, NFL, or something, the style of support, like the chants and stuff like that, there's different rhythms to it and stuff compared to Europe.
Okay.
So the European fans are more influenced by like football chants from the football stadium
Yes.
and stuff like that. And I would say they react a little bit more fiery. It's a little bit more. I feel like in the States sometimes it's a little bit people come in and they join in like, hey, ho, whatever goes on, but there's no personal involvement. And in Europe, I feel like there's like that little bit more spice and fire into it.
I agree.
In the reactions. And just for the moment, they go like, they feel a little bit more offended or they're a little bit more happy when something happens. That would be the biggest difference, I would say.
The Belgium crowd was great.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah,
The
really
the
good.
Lyon crowd last May
Yeah.
for the PLE.
Yeah, all the places we went.
Scotland.
It's been fantastic.
I feel
yeah.
like they kill the American crowds, to be honest.
Yeah, but it's also like that's also another thing again where having those PLEs and those TVs in Europe it's such a big deal. It's like we
never
were
happened.
before the fans were happy. Oh, there are a few live events and stuff. I still remember when I was growing up and watched WWE and stuff like that. When can we watch a show? And there's maybe one show nearby in Germany, 1.5 years apart or something like that. Everything seemed so far away, and now we had even in Germany we had a PLE, and we had a PLE in many countries and stuff like that. And yeah, it's a big deal. So people come with a lot of excitement, and I guess over here it's just it's part of the sports culture. They always had it, so
They're a little spoiled, maybe.
maybe. But it comes to that.
It
But
does feel special. It feels. I love that they did it. I was worried about you guys, though. I was like, man, are these guys staying over there for 3 weeks?
yeah, I mean, I had a few of the American colleagues. I remember we were sitting in the locker room, and we always have a screen there with like where we watch the show live, and they announced the tour.
You're like, oh god.
And it was like Kaiser and me. We were like, hell yeah, let's go, let's go home. And all the American boys, like their faces was like, oh my god,
Yes.
it's a lot of travel.
It almost
I don't
felt
blame
like its
them.
own little like thread within the WrestleMania season. Like these events were kind of, I don't know, there was a connective tissue because it was like one European city after the next. It was something, it was very unique. This
Yeah.
hasn't really happened before, like you said, not for the TVs.
Yeah.
I was trying to find like the earliest footage I could find of you from way back in the day to see, what your memories were. We found 2006, an event where you were known as, I think, Big Daddy Walter.
Yeah, it could be.
Do you recognize this
Was one of
event
the-
here? Let's take a look at this.
Well, let's see.
We got this here for you. This is Rings of Europe,
Oh, I remember that, of course.
one of your earliest events.
Yes. So first thing I remember, if it's that one, hell yeah.
Here you come.
Here I come. The promoter wanted to give me some weird Austrian song as an entrance, but I changed it to Metallica. He was very annoyed about it. I needed something
Look how
powerful.
like happy you are. You're completely
Right?
different.
Yeah, I was a babyface at first, like my coach told me. It must have been one of my first
High fiving
10
everyone.
matches or something like
Is
that.
this really one of your first 10?
Yeah, look at that Puma shirt.
Look at that. And you're wrestling a guy with a Cartman shirt, who I think you wrestled a bunch with this guy.
Him, yeah.
Do you recognize him?
Yeah, of course I do.
What's his name?
Siggy the Swiss Tank is his name. one of the coaches of Cesaro.
Is that true?
Yes.
Wow. Look at
I
you.
think like early on.
Yeah. How many people are in attendance here? Maybe like 50? Oh, maybe a little bit more.
Maybe a little bit more, yeah.
So what do you like when you watch this? Do you remember being in there? What it's like being in a gymnasium, basketball hoop up there? Like this is a far cry from Allegiant Stadium.
Oh yeah, of course I remember that. But I feel like what I remember most about those times is like the excitement going into it. Like that felt like WrestleMania. Trust
Did it?
me. That, of course, that felt like
You were nervous.
yeah, of course. It was like that's the big one right now. So it's your big chance here.
What's the psychology here? You're a total good guy here, right?
Yeah.
What about this outfit?
What's a singlet, right?
Yeah. Who are you? Like what is your persona right now?
There's
Total
no
white meat
persona.
babyface? You're just a guy.
It's just me. It's just a guy.
and it was Big Van, sort of like in honor of
that was Big Van Volta. Yeah.
yeah, but in honor of Vader, but not really in honor of Vader. He just called you
Yeah,
that, right?
the promoter gave me
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
You didn't like it.
That's fine. Whatever.
You weren't a Vader guy.
That big of a deal. I liked Vader.
You're more of a Goldberg guy, right? No, I'm kidding.
Oh.
Yeah. Look at this. Isn't this
There you
great?
go. Shoots me across with ease. Boom.
Are you critical of yourself? Is it hard to watch yourself?
Nah, I think it's funny to watch now.
You enjoy it.
Yeah. Sometimes Kaiser and I, when we have a time, we just put on old stuff
Old stuff,
and laugh
really?
about it. Yeah.
When did you first meet him?
In Germany, in Hamburg. Which year was it? 2008 or 9 or something like that.
And
Yeah.
You've been the best of friends ever since.
Yeah, I mean, it developed over time, obviously, because I used to live in North Germany during that time, and he lived a little bit more north in Germany. So a lot of the shows we would just go together because it would always be on the way, either or. And then we worked for the same places all the time. And yeah, that's how the friendship grew over time.
Look at that finish right there. Oh, it's about to come. You're about to splash him.
I remember that I wanted to do something else, but he refused everything else I wanted to do.
He refused? He was stiff?
I remember that. He was like, nah.
Not today, sir. Is he older than you?
Yeah.
So you're like super young and green.
Yeah, I'm like 18 there or something.
Wow, that is crazy.
Yeah. Look at that, body slam.
Here, I think you look at the referee, say, get out of the way, right?
Maybe it's only, where else should I go?
That is the finish right there. Was that your move? The splash?
One of them.
Yeah.
My coach was always like, "You're a big guy. You need to do big guy stuff.
Yeah.
Do a splash. Do an elbow drop."
At your biggest, how much did you weigh?
Oh, I was really fat at some point. Maybe what is it in pounds? Like 150 kg. That's like 330 or something.
Wow.
340 maybe.
And now?
Around 250 now.
Is your diet really strict?
At the moment, no.
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 So it's not like you're one of those body types that just... Some body types just want to be bigger. Like you're just built that way.
Yeah. I mean...
You don't have to be super...
You have to be realistic about it too, because we gotta maintain it throughout the year, right? So the last WrestleManias, I tried to like really diet hard, and I look good and stuff, and like I had a little bit of abs and everything. It was lean, and
But you're miserable.
yeah, but that's the thing. Is like then the energy is really low, the stamina was affected and stuff like that, and it's just not sustainable. It's like I think the public sometimes has a wrong idea of what a natural achievable body is, especially when there's like no off season or something like that, when you have to stay on it the whole year round. And where I'm at right now is like that's where I feel comfortable. I have a lot of energy. Performance wise, it's fantastic. So
Ludwig's been amazing as well. His evolution has been great.
Oh,
I think he like sort of unintentionally got involved in a storyline recently, but I don't know. I don't know if that was part of the plan or not. But he
really did.
He's been amazing, and I think your entrance is one of the best in the business. The two of you, Imperium, like just like that with the lights and the music. I'm assuming you're a fan of it as well. Like it just there's something about it that I don't know. It's not just there. Some of them kind of blend together. When that music hits, you know who's coming out.
Yes. Especially loved the thing we did with the coat where he would pull it.
Ah, yeah.
That looked
the
nice.
Little things,
but
yes.
he's above that now. That's
what is it? The mat is sacred?
Yes.
From his father, right?
Yes.
How do you say it in Germany?
Die Matte ist heilig.
Yes, he came up with that.
Yes. So it was kind of like his dad was a wrestler already. Axel Dieter was his name, and he did all the tournaments back then in Europe. And they're very different business back then, because it was literally sold as like freestyle wrestling. So it was only tournament based, not really gimmicks. It obviously changed over the time more and more. So they were like super protective, like kayfabe and stuff. It's like there's no gap, no question. And so he was like till the end, he was very passionate about it, and he was very, how should I say, like conservative about everything. But back then, when we started that whole gimmick, like before it was called Ringkampf and stuff, it was a time...
Oh, Ringkampf?
Yes.
Like Mein Kampf?
No.
I was like, what does Kampf mean?
Fight, struggle.
Struggle, okay, so that's what I think
and
of.
ring is, ring.
Wait, that was the name of the promotion?
No, that was the name of, that's the name how they marketed professional wrestling in German countries back then.
That's how they called wrestling?
Yeah, Ringkampf.
Wow, till this day?
No, not to this day. Now it's wrestling. Everything is Americanized now.
I never knew
back
that.
Then, but that was always like when his father would speak about it, he would never say wrestling, would always say Ringkampf.
Ah.
And we kind of like liked it back then, because it was a time where everybody tried to do more, try to stand out more, try to be flashy. And we were kind of like, okay, now is the time to do the opposite and eliminate everything fancy and just be to the point, focus on the fundamentals, and tried that route to stand out. And
do you watch like Frank Gotch and all these guys from back in the Hackenschmidt? You ever watched that, or is it completely different?
No, of course I watched it, but it's a hard watch, to be honest. Because it's
dry.
It's very different. It's like 30 minutes long often, and the quality of the video is not good. And it was not made for it's a different perception of the business back then. It was like treated as like, okay, it's like two sportsmen. The show aspect wasn't that important, or the big storytelling elements or something like that. So obviously it's a hard watch, but it's kind of like you have to get yourself through that a little bit because if you do this, you want to understand where stuff comes from and how things developed and stuff like that to fully understand them. I think now people just see certain things that are done and just copy it without questioning what's the reason for it and stuff like that. Now since Japanese wrestling got more popular, everybody's firing up all the time.
Sure.
Or elbowing back and forth, but there's a way to get there. You just don't do that.
Right. Spot fest, as they say.
Yes.
Something like that. Who is your favorite of all time? Because you did tell Brett in Calgary, I think, that Goldberg was your favorite. I think you were maybe sticking it to him. I don't know. We're big Brett guys around here.
Yeah.
He's right over there. That's my guy. I have him there as inspiration.
Oh.
He was on the show last week. I almost cried. He was my favorite guy as a kid. Who was yours, or who is yours? Who's the greatest of all time?
I don't know. I don't have a sort of specific one. There's a lot of greats. So
there's not your number one at the top?
Yeah. No, there's that I like the most. I don't know. I like many guys. There's especially wrestling is so, I don't know, so subjective that it's a taste thing as well. How do you test that?
Like a name or two. I just want to know where you're at.
Where I'm at. So one of my all-time favorites is Kenta Kobashi.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You heard of him?
Yeah, of course.
Fantastic. Stan Hansen. I always liked him a lot.
The Lariat.
Yes. I liked JBL a lot back then.
Also the Lariat.
There you go. Obviously, I liked Kurt Angle.
Okay.
I liked him a lot.
They're going to say Henning.
Oh,
I love him as well.
Fantastic.
It's a perfect,
yes. But like I said, you can name the who is who, and I like them all.
Okay. So you like the big, strong brute guys, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say that I prefer that.
You prefer that style,
yes.
Not the flipping around and all that.
I mean, of course, that's exciting as well, but it's just, I guess I mostly watched wrestling when I was younger. Obviously, as a kid, it's different, but I started with 18, and ever since then, when I watched it, I watched stuff where it's like, okay, what can I pick up from that?
Yeah.
For me, watching guys that I have my size doing all of that it's cool, it's exciting, it's really entertaining, but it doesn't help me much because I can't backflip.
Is there one guy on the roster that you haven't wrestled yet that you would really like to?
Oh, there's still plenty of guys I haven't wrestled yet where it's I think there's an exciting match in it. I would say Punk right now, obviously. He's on Raw. Seth.
You've never wrestled Seth, even
live events, or I think we did a 6-man tag twice or something on TV, but not like a proper program and built to a big match. There's a lot of guys that I haven't really mixed it up with. I thought Kevin Owens could have been a really good one time. We had one match on Raw that was really cool. I enjoyed it a lot. I think there would be a good program going forward. There's still plenty. It's such a big roster. There's. But on the other hand, it's I don't know. I never envisioned Miz as one of my favorite opponents. But that program I did with him for the IC title is one of my favorite ones.
Wow.
Because it just, I like it. And it's similar with the stuff with Jey now. It's complete opposites.
Yeah.
And it challenges me to find a different route to make it work from my side. And I always hope I can, challenge the other person to, take that extra step than they usually need to try something new. So it's often on paper what you think is I'm going to enjoy that. Sometimes it doesn't turn out like that. And the stuff where you go into and be like, okay, let's see how that goes. It's fantastic. So, but also that's the other thing now where it's from my wrestler's heart, there are a lot of guys where I say, oh, we could do a cool match, but now it's you always got to think, okay, what will do good business? What makes sense in that aspect? And so that changes a little bit.
By the way, I don't know if you know this, but the guys just told me Jey is a -600 favorite going into your match.
Oh, really?
The disrespect.
Well,
this is crazy. You know what this means, right?
Sentiment is against me.
Yes.
Yes.
That's exactly it.
That's all
Minus
right.
600 to one of the most dominant forces in the game. That's crazy.
Right?
I would slam you.
Well, it's all right. I think everything right now is unpredictable anyway.
He's the underdog. He's the babyface. People like to get behind that. But
Yeah.
minus 600 is crazy for the challenger going into a heavyweight. That's got to be one of the biggest odds for a challenger.
So I don't know. Like I don't know those.
I don't know them either. But
No, I don't know. I don't know the odds and like what is minus 600 a lot or
minus 600 is huge in his favor.
Okay.
That means that everyone thinks that he's going.
But 600 is a high number for them.
Yes.
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Usually it should be like, like even Cena's like minus 200.
Yeah. I mean, kind of like shows that we've done the job right because people seem to
believe.
Yeah, they really want to see him win. We'll see if that happens, right? That's the magic thing about it.
Yes.
Nobody knows but us.
You know which day you're on?
I know, but
okay, maybe
if they haven't announced it.
Okay, fair enough. I don't know if I missed it or.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Okay, I didn't miss it. All right. Well, this has been a great pleasure. It really has. I really appreciate you coming in. I was really looking forward to this, and I know there's a lot going on. You're probably very tired. You want to be at home, so thank you for making the trek, and congratulations on all your success.
Yeah,
you're one of my favorites to watch, and you're. It's fun to be a fan of yours. You know what I mean? It's fun to watch you. It's fun to tell people like this is what wrestling is. This is what it's all about because of the way you conduct yourself. And one of the things that I hate the most, I'm not trying to like, as the kids say, glaze you here, but I don't like when people play pro wrestling.
Yeah.
And that's a huge thing for me. As someone who's older now and tries to suspend disbelief, you can tell when someone's playing pro wrestling and when someone lives and breathes it. And that's what you do. So kudos to you.
Oh, I appreciate it a lot. Thanks a lot. That's what I try to be. Yes. That's what I try to do. And yeah, thanks for having me. It was good fun having a little chat about everything. And
yes.
One day again, maybe.
We shall do it again. Yes, maybe. You say maybe. It sounds like you didn't have so much fun.
No, it was great. I just never know what's going to happen.
Of course. We never know.
Take nothing for granted.
Absolutely. Thanks for watching this video. Before you go, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for us. Also, give us a thumbs up. Leave a nice comment. These things go a long way. And while you're here, do check out the rest of the channel. We've got live shows and full interviews, clips, and a whole lot more. We're doing big things here, and we appreciate your support very much.